Okay. Never really caught up never really talked about Call of Duty before. At least not on this channel. I should probably explain. I got into Call of Duty back in 2022. That was the first time the series ever crossed my eye. Mostly because I was desperate to look for video games that took place during World War II. Yeah, I've always been a fan of Wolfenstein, but I wanted to experience a video game where you fight Nazis in their own damn time period. And a friend of mine, a friend by the name of Nick Woods, let me borrow a game called World at War, the fifth Call of Duty game. Back when the series actually had some fucking value to it. So, that's the question we gotta ask ourselves. With everyone constantly complaining that Call of Duty used to be good or hasn't been good in years, what changed? How did this now 22-year-old video game franchise, with one game released every year since the first game's release, with the sole exception of 2004, manage to get so hated by the people who once loved it? And how do we improve? How do we get back to what it needs to be? Well, let's take a look at the problems first. 1. Little to no effort on the campaigns. The campaigns, or the story mode of the video game, where as you play you unlock more and more of the story, Call of Duty used to have some pretty great campaigns. The first 3 all take place during World War II. The fourth one, where you play as the military of what was then the modern world. Black Ops, you play as American spies and a few spies from Allied countries. Well, UN countries, I should say. And then you have the 4 games that take place in the future, which, why did we need, by the way? Yeah, let's add a little sub part of that to this. Who wanted Call of Duty to take place in the future? Like, Call of Duty was meant for those who wanted something contemporary, something that matches up a bit with the real world. If you wanted science fiction, there's 1,000 other video games out there you could play, maybe closer to 1,000,000. Call of Duty is just not meant for that. Now, I have no problems with an FPS in the future. It's just this wasn't supposed to be that. Yeah. Then, not until about 2017, 9 years after World at War released, would Call of Duty even consider touching the World War II time period again. Yes. Call of Duty World War II, video game that deserves a lot less hate than it gets. I get why a lot of people don't like it, I just can't bring myself to agree. Anyways, but then, so it used to have great campaigns. Great stories where, as you play, you unlock more of the stories, learn a bit more about your characters, get a little closer to your NPC companions. And it's honestly pretty good experience. But then, somewhere around 2013 or so, just as we started doing shit in the future, we decided that instead we're going to just do our own thing and have as little effort in the campaign as possible. Well, clearly, Activision, you are allergic to money. So we're going to stop giving it to you. Anyways, so there's those poor campaigns, especially given the fact that you just redid the Modern Warfare trilogy, and well, the first two were okay. Modern Warfare 3 2023 was a shameless cash grab, and y'all are going to be held accountable for that for years. And then, of course, you have Vanguard. Hear me out. To make a video game 100% historically accurate is going to be difficult. Especially when the time period you've chosen is so different from the world we live in today. The problem with Vanguard is that they didn't even try. Vanguard chose to be the 6th time Call of Duty takes a stab at World War II. And rather than show any respect to the time period, or to the millions of people who served their country, be they the winning or losing side, rather than pay respect to those who stood up and fought for what they believed, fought so that their country could have what it needed. In the case of us, the Americans, the millions of brave soldiers, sailors, marines, and airmen, so that we could have who fought so that we could have the liberties, the liberty, rights, and privileges that we so foolishly take for granted every single day in the 2020s. And rather than pay respect to that, what does Vanguard do? It shits all over them. Yeah. And so that's why Activision had to give out so many refunds. Getting something 100% accurate might be hard, but honestly, we take at least 50% over not even trying. And Sledgehammer Games, who made Call of Duty Vanguard, we're not taking excuses anymore. Own up to it. Own up to it. You did well enough with Call of Duty World War II, you showed massive disrespect with Vanguard. Okay. So, yeah. Little to no effort on the campaigns. Then the zombies thing. Like, I haven't played the first 3 Call of Duty games, but from what I understand, every game since Modern Warfare has had to have a little special something after you complete the game. A little bonus level. With the Modern Warfare games, you get something called Spec Ops. With the Black Ops stuff, you get zombies. Excuse me. But the zombie stuff has gone a little overboard. In World at War, when zombies first appeared, there was no story to it. There was no end all goal. It's just see how many rounds you can go fighting off hordes of zombies. Just survive. People had an issue with that. You created a zombies timeline that is admittedly somewhat entertaining, though also very confusing. And there's all that. But, yeah. Now, I personally am not a big fan of zombies in any capacity. I've never understood the public's big obsession with them. But if you enjoy it, y'all go ahead and enjoy it. I just personally don't believe that they need to be in, like, every single Call of Duty game. That's just me. Especially Call of Duty games that are not connected to the Black Ops timeline. But again, that's just my opinion. It's just my opinion. But then next up you've got what the hell else? Oh, yeah, the biggest problem. The biggest problem that really, really brings Call of Duty down: multiplayer. Why is this a problem? Why is it a problem that you can customize your character in game to look however you want? Why is it a problem that you can now play as celebrities in Call of Duty? Because this isn't fucking Fortnite. This isn't fucking Fortnite. In Fortnite, from what I understand, there's barely any story anyway, and multiplayer is just all there is to it. So y'all can go ahead and do whatever you wish. Call of Duty was made for those who either are in or at the very least have a great respect for the military. If you don't respect the military as much, or you don't understand why we do, or you just don't want to play a military video game, you can go play something else. Part of the joy of fighting for America is we won't force you to play the video games we like if you don't want to. Just leaving that out there. But it was still taken seriously. That when you play Call of Duty, you play as the soldiers, the spies, some sort of armed force for whichever country you want. Especially if you want the United States, but let's table that for now. But then, Fuck Night showed its ugly face and decided to let people play as celebrities like Snoop Dogg and Nicki Minaj. So what does Call of Duty do? Also allow their players to play as Snoop Dogg and Nicki Minaj, who, last I checked, never served in the military. If I'm wrong, y'all can feel free to correct me in the comments. But it's just, like, there have been celebrities who have served in the military. I'm not against playing as them. It's just, Call of Duty used to be for those who took the military seriously, not just some jokers who want to play as their favorite celebrities running around wielding guns. Especially on a battlefield. I mean, I know y'all like Snoop, but last I checked, I don't think he'd know what to do on a military battlefield. So yeah, it's gotten to a point where when I was at my job, while I was sweeping up some floors, I heard a couple of people, namely a couple of teenagers, talking about the Call of Duty multiplayer. And I hear one kid say, "Oh, what's next? Call of Duty Country Bears?" Like a friggin' Barry from the 2002 movie, all growed up and eligible for military service, wielding a combination rifle guitar. Okay, guitar gun does sound kind of cool, but Call of Duty is supposed to take place in the real world, where guitar guns are not a thing and bears don't know how to use either one of the two. Anyway. Oh, and Activision, if you even really consider Call of Duty Country Bears, y'all might as well just close your company now. You will lose more money than you make with that. So, there's the problems with Call of Duty. What really brought it down... Oh, and microtransactions. That too. That kills any video game. As for how to fix it, put more effort into the campaigns again. Give actual stories with characters that are actually engaging. Find some new writers if you must. Second, no more microtransactions. Once someone has bought the game, that should be enough. You should not have to buy things within the game. It's just kind of stupid like that. And last but not least, fix the multiplayer. Instead of being able to play as celebrities who wouldn't know what to do, make it so that you can only play as... Well, if you have to use famous fictional characters, I'd prefer at least ones that have been on a battlefield. That's just me. Like, yeah, having them play as Alucard from Hellsing, he at least knows what to do on a battlefield. He's been there before. Celebrities that have not... Yeah, no, don't do that. And again, the whole going back to soldiers and spies and all that, that would also be pretty cool, I think. But that's just me. Anyways, those are my thoughts, and I'd like to hear yours. Go ahead and place them in the comments. Till next time.